Um, we're going to shoot the, I better not say that. We're going to hang out for a moment. We're going to let everybody get a chance to get logged on here. Apparently, we have people all over the country, Puerto Rico, and a few other countries that are checking us out. This is amazing. I spoke to some of you guys earlier today. Thank you for logging in and being a part of the Laster Financial family. Tonight is going to be another awesome night. Another day in the life, in the grind, in the Laster Financial Consultants family. Working with agents literally all over the country, working with planners all over the country. And I got permission to share this. So I'll go ahead and share this. So was just recently working, just a moment ago, like literally like 20, 30 minutes ago, working with some pastors out in Philadelphia. Okay. And as we were working together, as we were talking, doing what we do, we were going into conversations about 501c3s and how all of you guys who are 501c3s, mostly how you guys are structured. And as we started talking about, structuring of 501c3s, what does it mean to be structured as a 501c3? There's a huge difference between the statutory world and the common law world. And I wanted to start off this evening with really diving into that so you can understand what we mean by holistic case design. Okay. Statutory world, meaning state regulated. Okay. Opposed to what do we mean by common law? What is the law of the land? Right? All right. Basic understanding of the United States Constitution is simply that the federal law trumps state law. So do you want to structure your organization, your nonprofit, your business, your family up under state rules that can change at the drop of a dime, or federal rules? Okay. And this evening, we're going to spend a lot of time on understanding holistic planning. And as we're talking about holistic planning, the first stop is, how are you structured? How are you structured? And when we start talking about how are you structured, there's many different directions that you can go, but the way you are structured means so many things. It's so many things that you want to eliminate as many variables as possible. Okay. So here, if I had to ask you a question, if I had to say, hey, do you think that taxes are going to stay the same, go down, or go up in the near future, what would your response be? Right? Many folks who, watch the news, I don't know, you would agree that there's a high chance that taxes will go up in the future, right? Okay. What if there was a way that you can pre-plan, or it didn't matter whether taxes went up or down or all around? It doesn't even matter, not to you. That's holistic planning. Okay. Because there's people who just do things, and then there are people who plan them out to the T and then execute. So Here's the biggest issue that we see when we're talking about holistic planning is that many people, they don't adequately uh, manage their household finances per se. You know, and many people, why would you? It's just you, right? You can splurge when you want to splurge, right? It's your money, right? Do whatever you want to do. You worked hard, you made the money, right? Okay. Um, well, what about if you're married, right? Are all of your accounts joint? Do you have a joint checking and a joint savings, and then the individual checking in the, for the husband, the individual checking for the wife or the partner or whatever, your fiance, right? How are you managing that? Here's the flaw. So what happens is that when people start a business for themselves, they start managing their business finances how they manage their household finances, right? I'll give you the prime example. Was working with some clients, and in this scenario, the wife took the lead where she was managing the household finances, and the husband said, I go out and I go work. I trust my wife. I don't think she'll do anything crazy with our finances and our money and so forth. And upon teaching them how to audit their financials, what we find out is that, they have their main account, and, when the wife will go under, she will withdraw from their joint account and put it in her personal account. And then, payday will come back, they'll put it back inside of the main account, bada bing, bada boom, nothing happens, right? But the husband didn't know about it, till we met, right? So how many of you are business owners, and how many business owners out there do a similar thing? Commingle funds. Like, all of your accountants and CPAs will tell you not to commingle funds, but how many people do that on a day in, day out basis? Okay. Well, that goes back to, how are you structured? How are you structured, right? Are you structured as an sole proprietor, a LLC, a S corporation, a C corporation? Are you owned by a trust? Do you have a business trust? Do you have a family trust? Or are you a 501c3? Okay. How are you structured? Okay. What is your end game? That's huge. Okay. Because if your end game is to go into business for now, and then, you're going to just terminate the business, later once you meet, a certain sales goal or a certain goal that you have in mind, no problem. LLC is a limited liability corporation, which means when you die, the business dies. You can't carry on an LLC once you die. See, that's the epitome of a pass-through entity. There's a pass-through entity. That means your business is making money, and when that money comes into your business, after expenses, all income passes through to your Social Security number, which means you're fully liable for every bit of profit that your company receives that passes through your business to your Social Security number. Is that what you wanted? Well, how can you reduce your taxes if everything passes through to you? Once again, there's a structural problem. Okay. What if you're S corporation? That's pretty cool. You get to sell up to 100 domestic stock inside of your S corporation. Wow. That's a great way to raise money. Okay. But guess what? The S corporation is a pass-through entity. So after all expenses are paid, anything that's left over passes through to your business. Passes through to your Social Security number. Stay with me here. Okay. Now, what if you have a C corporation? Okay. So you get all your expenses, everybody that you pay out and so forth. Your business can literally retain earnings, and you can modify how much you want to pay yourself. Okay. And you have different accounts for all of these things. Okay. And also with a C corporation, up under your C corporation can own an LLC, can own an S corporation, who can own a business trust. I just gave you some gold right here. Let me say what. Your C corporation can own a business trust. Let's flip it. A business trust can own a corporation. Oh, this gets deep. Okay. What is your desired results? Is your desired results for you and your family and your family's family continue to get paid from your business over and over again? Well, you need to consider a C corporation, because a C corporation doesn't die when you die. A LLC dies when you die. A S corporation dies when you is for life. It's nonstop. Okay. So if you look at it that way, if you understand, and and I love people so much, especially when they're talking about generational wealth. Are you set up for generational wealth? Are you set up for generational taxation? That's the biggest difference here. Okay. So now that I hope, I'm opening up your mind. I just want you to have an open mind right now as we're talking about structurally. We're talking about holistic planning. How are you structured? What's your game plan? Right? Is it just you? Are you finished with college? Do you plan to go back to college? Right? Do you plan to buy a house? Do you plan to downsize from the house that you currently have? Right? Are you planning to purchase a house? Right? Is that your forever home? Or is that considered another investment property for you? Or is that your place for right now? Do you frequently go on vacations? Do you plan to go on vacations when you retire? Right? You know you. You know you. Just go ahead. Be honest with yourself. All right? Just be honest. Hey, you like to go out to eat from time to time. You like to look nice. You like to smell good. You like to make sure your hair is done. You like shoe shopping. Whatever it is, have a budget for it. Okay. Everything's totally fine. Just build that in holistically. How much are you spending on that? Okay. Once you see those numbers, do you need to dial back a little bit? It's okay. It's okay. Okay. How's your health? No, seriously, how's your health? Or, working out, or eating your veggies, drinking plenty of water? Okay. Are you on any type of medications? I don't know. Got any DUIs? Do you use any illegal substances? Drink every night? These are, you got to be honest with yourself when you're doing holistic planning, right? Now, what about your spouse? What about your partner? Okay, what about your kids? I was talking to some parents, and the topic came up. Which one of your kids are more likely to succeed? Okay, so you already know, right? This is holistic planning. Let's just, let's be real about this, right? How are you delegating your money? How are you delegating your savings? It's holistic planning, okay? So it's a means to an end as we're talking about holistic planning. What does it look like? How are we going to be, or shall I say, what financial tools should be utilized? Okay. What does that mean for you? All right. Now, once you do that, what's your number? Like, based off your lifestyle right now, what's your number? And what I mean, we call it a flow number, but how much can you reasonably save? Okay. So, while that seems like a basic question, I've understood that many people, they have, how shall I say it? they have ideologies and philosophies that is very hard for them to let go. It's very hard for them to let go. And some of these ideologies and philosophies, they receive those ideologies and philosophies from people who are not licensed, people who are not, practicing, in the financial services arena. And if they are, they're not thinking of the big picture. They're not thinking about the taxes. They're not thinking about the inflation. They're not thinking about the healthcare. They're not thinking about the sequence of returns. They're not thinking about possible losses inside of the stock market, possible gains, or if the gains are coming and gains are not going to meet their needs for a year. So it is what it is. But when you're thinking holistically, you're thinking about all of these things, right? And you're taking it into consideration of your lifestyle. You want lifestyle insurance, okay? You want lifestyle insurance. You want to make sure that all areas of your life are financially pre-covered. Not just covered, but pre-covered. It's already thought of. You've already thought about it. You've already put it in place. And it's either going to be covered, or it's either covered now, or it's going to be covered in 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months. You already know, right? You're living on edge, on pins and needles till that time comes. But besides that, you're good to go. And that's holistic planning. That's what we encourage people to do, to start having that conversation, right? And if you haven't done so already, activate your financial GPS. It'll answer a lot of your questions. I was working with a client last week on Friday, and they could tell me how much income they were making. But when questions arose about their expenses, they kind of knew, but they didn't know. They didn't know where their money was going. And that's the difference. And that's why the first stop is, hey, you need to audit your finances. If you haven't done that in the last 2 years, and many people have not audited their finances since COVID. So if you have not audited your finances, do it now. What do I mean by audit? Take a census of everyone that's in your household or everyone that you support, either fully, part-time, partially. Audit. Add that to your financial GPS. Audit your finances. How much are you getting paid? Seriously. Okay. Then how much are you actually bringing home from your check? Right? You get paid a check, but how much is actually making into your bank account? Audit it. Right? We'll do a holistic planning here. So you can't leave nothing up under the rug. Leave no stone unturned. Make sure that you audit everything. How much is coming home? How much do you anticipate from future payments? Do you have dividend payments? Whether you have annuities, right? Whether you have an inheritance or an expected inheritance. That needs to be a part of your holistic plan. Do you have are you expecting an inheritance from, your grandparents, your grandma and grandfather, an auntie, an uncle? Many people don't know. It's kind of like, I hope I get something. I'm thinking there may be something, or I don't think there's anything there. Right? And there's an old school mentality, and forgive me, people, I'm just going to call it like it is. In African American and Hispanic families, they don't talk about this. One of the most ignorant things that I heard someone tell me in a client interview was, "Oh, I'm not trying to leave any life insurance for my kids. I'm not trying to make anybody rich." Totally ignorant. So I had to explain to this person, your death benefit, 50% of it is your long-term care and disability coverage, right? But I'm not trying to make anybody rich. Yeah. Listen, 50% of your death benefit, since the Department of Labor ruling in 2017 states that you're supposed to have living benefits, and those living benefits that are inside of your life insurance policy, 50% of that, up to 50% of that, is your long-term care, and it's tax-free. It's not reportable to IRS or to Social Security. Oh. And then when somebody goes, well, I'm not trying to make anybody rich, then I don't know. What about the next generation or two or three or four or five? What about them? What about making them rich? Or what about giving them a head start? You see, that money doesn't, holistically, that money doesn't have to go to your kids. It can go to your private family foundation. That's a 501c3. You can set that up where that can donate to your grandkids' college fund. You can set that up to where beautiful. This is totally beautiful. I have a client that made arrangements that when he passed away, his wife would get flowers and chocolates every year on her birthday and for Valentine's Day, which is their wedding anniversary. Beautiful. And he did it all through his family trust and his family foundation, which is 501c3. Amazing. So your life insurance death benefit is not always about making someone rich. Just consider that. Bear with me on that. Okay, so back to holistic planning, right? So after auditing your family and your dependents and auditing how much money you're making versus how much money you're actually bringing home, the next thing you want to audit is how much are you saving right now? How much are you saving? Now, the secret sauce of my number is always 20%. I was going back and forth with some folks, huge subscribers of Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, and the like. And Dave Ramsey said 15%. James says 20. The Jewish faith says 30. Where's the sweet spot? I found that 20% can replace your expenses in roughly 8 to 10 years. 20% can replace your income, if done right, in 12 to 15 years. I'm sorry, in 10 to 12 years. To replace your total savings, fully replace it, be done in 15 years. So what's your financial goals? What are you saving for, right? What's your current rate of savings? Now, the way to look at that is, let's say you have a 401k at work or some type of, 457, you're a federal employee, a TSP, and you're at work. And they offer, a match up to 5%. That's free money. So take the match. You should still be saving 15% minimum of your take-home pay. Now, for those of you who say, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that." I challenge you, just do it for 8 years. You'll be set for life. Save 20% for 8 years. You'll be set for life. I got the numbers to back it up. I'll show it to you. Back it up with numbers. Better than I can say. Back it up with numbers. Right? So holistic planning. So you're looking at your savings. What's your rate of savings? All right. Check that off the list. So once again, audit your family. 2, audit your income. Audit your savings. What's next? We also want to audit our net worth. How many bank accounts are you using? What are they used for? Is that the best banking institution for what you're using it for? Are you using that banking institution for savings? Are they giving you any type of interest, though it's minimum, inside, for your savings account? What are the banking products that are at your bank that are available to you? Are there CDs? Are there money market accounts so you can make money on your money? How many bank accounts are you? What are those bank accounts for? Do you have a transactional bank account? I recommend a minimum of 3 bank accounts for every household. This is mandatory. I recommend a minimum of 3 bank accounts for every household. And if you would like to know more about why I recommend that, definitely reach out to me in the chat box and I can further explain. Okay. Next thing. Okay. As you're auditing your net worth and there's banking, how many credit cards do you have? What are the balances on those credit cards? Okay. And immediately when I say credit cards, there's credit cards and then there's credit rating. Credit rating, we'll get there in a moment. 1 second. Credit cards. What's the type and name of that credit card? Is it a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4, tier 5 credit card? That's very important. It's very important, right? Is there an annual fee for that? Did you put that in your expenses? Add it in. What I'm trying to teach you is that anything that you do not get to keep yourself inside of your bank account that you can consume for whatever reason that you want to, it needs to be itemized as an expense. Make sure you account for that. So for your credit cards, what's your balance? What's your minimum payment? What are you paying now? Are you paying more? Okay. And then let's look at the credit size. Is it more than 30% utilization? Look, here's a secret. I always tell my clients that when you have a credit card, that don't spend money you don't have. Meaning that if your monthly bills are $500, well, you swipe the card, pay your bills on time, but at the end of the month, pay off the entire credit card, pay it completely. For 6 to 8 months. If you do that for 6 to 8 months, your credit score on average will go up 114 points. And that doesn't matter what your credit score is. You get yourself a couple of secured credit cards, do exactly what I just said, your credit score is going to go up 114 points because you made a large purchase and you paid it off. So you're showing that you're able to manage credit well. Okay. All right. Back to auditing your net worth. Okay. So now that's credit cards. Do you have any investment accounts? Do you have a crypto account? Do you have a IRA or 401k? Do you got a 529 plan? Got any annuities? All right. You got any stocks or bonds? Itemize it. Put it in there. What's your balance? What's your rate of return over the last 3 years? What does that look like? Okay. And how do you have that invested? Is it on a really aggressive side? Or is it too conservative for your age and your financial status right now? What does it look like? Where do you need to be? Some people are in an aggressive fund trying to make most money that they possibly can, and there's no need for them to be there. What about you? Okay. This is holistic planning. This is the power of holistic planning that I'm really just trying to teach you. I want you to wrap your head around it. Okay. Now, here's the next thing. Do you own or do you rent? There's no judgment here. Do you own or do you rent? Do you rent? How much is your rent? And do you anticipate your rent to go up? Everybody say yes, right? So anticipate a 3 to 5% appreciation in rent. What about if you own? Okay. How much did you buy your house for and how much is it now? Know your property values. Do you have a HELOC on your home? How much can you get in the HELOC? How large can that line of credit be? What is your equity in your home? What is your monthly payments for your house? What's the interest rate you have? These are all very detailed questions, and you should be able to spit those off just like that. Why? Because you've been auditing your account. Most businesses do this once a week. Not once a week. They do it once a week, but they look at the results once a quarter. What do you do? That's the question. What are you doing? When's the last time you really dived deep and audited all of your accounts? Just think about that. Just wrap your head around that. Where has all your money been going since the last time you audited your accounts? Have you ever audited your accounts? Okay. Let's talk about your insurances. Do you have automobile insurance? Is it just the collision? Or is it full coverage? Right? What's your deductible? Is that in your savings plan? Right? Some people get $1,000 deductible so that their monthly insurance is cheaper, but when they actually have to use the cheaper, but Jesus, right? And a lot of people don't realize that your car insurance is cheaper if you pay it annually. Who knew, right? But now you know, right? So do you have that saved is the question. Is that part of your savings plan, right? They always talk about the emergency plan, okay? They always talk about the emergency fund. But once you have your emergency fund, you should start building up your savings for your year-end fund, meaning that next year is already covered. That's nice, right? Next year's covered. It's covered. Yeah, we're good. Got a whole year saved. We're good. Imagine the confidence that you have now. Okay? Stay with me here. Okay? And do you have, and you know what I'm going to say, do you have any form of life insurance? Do you got the old kind or the new kind? The old kind? Those old whole life policies a lot of people have been holding on to. You got a term policy? Okay, cool. Okay. Got one of my favorites, an index universal life policy. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Okay. Now, after you've audited your net worth, now it's time to audit your expenses. Now, before we got to expenses, I just want you to see the path that we went on. We audited, who's inside your household, who are you responsible for? Talked about, we audited your income, all the different forms of income. We audited your savings. After you audit your savings, now you want to audit your net worth, which brings us to something that's super important. Your expenses. How much does it cost you to be you every single month? That's the power, water, the gas, the trash, the cable, the internet, the cell phone, the gym membership, shopping, groceries you got to eat, gas for your car. How much does it cost you to be you every single month? What is that amount? How much are your expenses? Do you know the answer to that? If not, go to your bank accounts. Everywhere you swipe the card at, account for every single dollar over the last 3 months. Can you do it? Will you do it? Because that's the secret sauce. That's the secret to your success. That's going to be the secret sauce for you to decide, are you going to make it to where whatever your desired destination is going to be? Right? How much does it cost you to be you every single month? That's a great question, right? Which brings us to number 6. Now, after you've gone over who's inside your house, who are your dependents, what are you building a plan for? After we talked about your income, after you audited your savings, after you audited your net worth, after you audited your expenses, big question. Now, what are your financial goals? What are your financial goals? What do you intend to do with the wealth that you have generated and that you have created? What's your game plan for that? What do you plan to do? Right? Do you plan to, purchase a new home? Do you plan or downsize, right? Really? Okay. Is there an educational goal? Do you plan to buy a new car? I know people who lease a car every year. They get a new lease every single year. That's in their budget. They want a new car. They want to have a reliable piece of transportation every single year. That's what they have. Right? This is what I want you guys thinking this way, right? Do you vacation every year? I have one family, they vacation twice a year. One vacation is always Thanksgiving. They go back home. And every summer, they have a special family vacation. Everybody goes in there. That's the deal. If you ask them what they're doing July 4th, they're with their family. That's what they're doing every single year. July 4th, Thanksgiving, they're always together, right? Are you planning for a wedding? No, maybe your wedding, your daughter's wedding, your son's wedding. I don't know. You're planning for a wedding. Are you planning to purchase some property? Is there some specific asset you intend to purchase? Is there a game plan for that? Are there any gifts that you're planning to give? Right? Any donations, any legacy giving? Is there any other financial goal that you have outside of that? What about your retirement expenses? How much do you think is going to be comfortable for you to live on when you go to retire? And I get it. Some people are so young, they don't think about retirement, right? So let's talk about what retirement is. Retirement is just a transition. Okay. There's 2 things that you do in retirement that you should be doing now to prepare you for retirement. So retirement is just really a transition where you're not probably, going to a 9 to 5 every single day, or you're not running your company every single day. That's all. It's a transition. Well, if you're not going to work every single day, if you're not running your business every single day, you're then doing, and you can fill in the blank. But there's 2 things that everybody has to do in their retirement that you should be doing right now. That's managing your time and your money. You're managing your time and your money. And if you're not doing that right now, you may never really get to retire. You may have to, not be retired anymore. The best way possible, many of you can retire in as little as 12 to 15 years. Many of you. Depending on your cost of living, many people today can retire in 12 to 15 years. It's not me saying it. It's the numbers. The numbers don't lie. People lie. The numbers don't lie. Okay? And so, as you are understanding the importance of auditing your financial life, and those things are starting to come to fruition, it's starting to make a little bit of sense to you. Now there's 2 things to talk about. Okay. So the first one to talk about is, hey, what does it look like if you're going to start saving, let's say, $333 a month. Basically, about $180 per paycheck for those of you who get paid twice a month. I bring this illustration up because I was having an awesome conversation with someone, and they're in the mortgage industry today. And we were talking about, what if somebody had a mortgage of about $1,300 a month and they just saved, $333 every single month on top of their mortgage, just in case they needed some money for maintenance or something like that, right? Something pops up, right? Because a house is like a money pit, right? There's always something you got to pay for. So to save that $4,000 a year, which is $333 every single month, 12 times 333, get $4,000. So to do this, you first of all want some form of mortgage protection, right? And that mortgage protection is there in the event that you die, your mortgage is paid off, so your family does not have to relocate. So if you're one of the millions of Americans that are out there buying houses, but you don't have mortgage insurance, you're crazy right now. You're crazy. Did a pandemic not teach you anything? Right? So you need that death benefit, but use that death benefit to start saving money. Now, how do you save money? What I'm recommending, a way for you to save money, is you take the amount that you want to save, and in this example, it's $4,000, and you couple it with 80% more, which would be that $20,000, and you save it inside of your life insurance policy, which is an index universal life policy, and then loan 16,000 or the 80% back out to yourself. You go ahead and go spend that. You were going to spend it anyways. You go ahead and spend that, but you leave your savings there. And let's say we did the exact same thing, not needing to pull any money out of the death benefit or anything like that. And we just kept doing that year after year. Did it for 10 years. Okay. And we did it for another 20 years. Right. Okay. Just kept saving money. God forbid anything happened to you. This is not a term policy. Many people, they get those, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year term. No, this is not like that. Right. Just keep saving money, like habitually. The minimum amount that I tell people, by the way, I always tell them, you got to save at least $400 a month. If you can do it, save $400 a month. If you have just graduated college, if you're in high school, try to save $300 to $400 a month. Don't even think about it. Have it automated so you don't even see it. Have it come out of your account. You don't even see it. So what if you save this $333 for just 25 years? Just 25 years. And then stopped. This is the beauty of an index universal life policy, right? Because on this index universal life policy, it's now going to start paying you $60,000 a year tax-free, not reportable to the IRS or to Social Security. And it's going to start paying you this for the rest of your life. That's the good stuff, right? And then when you're ready, get a cost of living increase to $75,000 and do it again at $80,000. All because you save $333 every single month for 25 years. Okay. Pretty cool to be 90 years old, get a little more than $100,000 out of your policy, tax free. I mean, come on, guys. That's the true definition of a sugar daddy, right? That's a sugar daddy, baby, right? And you still have cash value. You still got well over $300,000 cash value with a sizable death benefit because you're only saving $333 a month. This is holistic planning. So let's take holistic planning to another level, right? And this next level is replacing your expenses with a 5% cost of living increase. Watch how this works. Watch how this works. So we're talking about holistic planning. We're able to look at our lifestyle, and we use this style of savings as lifestyle insurance to protect your lifestyle. That's generally how we are putting all of this together, is just so that we can protect your lifestyle. So watch. Imagine someone, maybe they're 35 years old, and between husband and wife or just one person, I don't know, 100,000 goes in. Then they, 1 to 3 days later, they take a loan out for 80,000. And by the way, this is incrementally. This could be over the year, right? This could be a lump sum, right? But that 20%, that 20% is $20,000 savings. That's their 20% hold. So they're going to hold 20% of the full value of what they intend to flow through their policy. Watch how this works. This is a game changer, people. They are literally using this program in Los Angeles County for their homeless. They're taking the funds that they have for their homeless, and they're trying this program out for them. Jim Harbaugh, football coach of Michigan, has the same kind of plan that we know about, right? There's numerous NBA and NFL individuals that have this style of savings. And what is this style that I'm talking about? It's saving 20% of your income. Watch what 20% can do. So they're flowing $100,000 here, and they're saving $20,000, and obviously they're taking a loan back out for that $80,000. They do that for 7 years. On years 8, they flow in $100,000, and they pull back out $100,000. They put in $100,000, they take back out $100,000. They put in $100,000 in year 10, and they take back out $100,000. Well, what happens in year 11? Year 11, there's no money going inside of their policy. But now they get $41,675 with a cost of living increase the following year and each additional year. For how long? For the rest of their lives. Okay? For the rest of their lives. Okay? And if life decides to slap you across the head, you have a sizable cash value here to compensate, because life is going to happen. Life is going to happen. It's going to beat you up unless you're ready for it. You got to have a contingency plan. Trust me, I know. Okay, I know there's many financial planners and advisors out there. They shoot this story as if they're perfect and nothing is ever going wrong. Folks, listen to me. It has happened to me, and this is how I can advise. This is why I advise people so well. I say, listen. Oh, I've been there. If I would have known then what I know now, you can fill in the blank. Did you know that you can replace your income? Did you know that you can replace your expenses? Did you know your rate of savings that you needed to do that? Did you know the savings vehicle that you needed to acquire to be able to do that? This is amazing, right? And this is how we prepare for holistic planning. You see, if we know that we're going to have this style of saving and that we're going to use this style of saving, okay, and obviously the style of saving works, but if you needed, some supporting material, some supporting advice, some supporting documentation that this works, we can get that for you. That's not even a problem. But after you audit your financial life and your financial behaviors, well, then it's just a no-brainer to plug and play, right? The average go-to is 20%. For some of you, assuming that you have good health, probably can get away with 18%. Okay. Some of you, maybe you're not so healthy. Maybe you need to start saving 22%, 22%. Who knows? But you won't know until you audit your financial life. And this is what holistic planning does for you. After you start to audit your financial life, then a few other things start to kick in. Well, what about my spouse? What about my kids? What about my parents? What about my aunts and uncles? What about my pets? What about the dog? What about the cat? What about the bird? Right? So, one of my clients, and I know you're listening, what about my pet iguana? I don't know. Who's going to take care of this thing if you are incapacitated or don't wake up tomorrow? How is that laid out? Okay, back to structural. Back to structural. Is that put inside of a trust, a will, power of attorney, or medical directive? This is holistic planning at its finest. All right, bonus tip. Bonus tip. What about your business? Do you plan to sell your business? Or do you just plan to succeed your business to a friend or a family member? Mainly a family member, right? So, as we're talking about holistic planning, the whole idea is to look at the entire big picture and then contract and narrow down on one. Look at the big picture, contract, and focus on another area. Look at the big picture, okay, and then contract. Just focus in on that income portion of it. Look at the big picture, then focus in on your expenses. Or your expenses keeping you from being able to save. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you, Jack, for chiming in. I'm seeing some trends as we're doing a lot of these consultations. And if you have questions about how to save, we give away a lot of free financial tools so people can do all the things that we talked about. All you have to do is just activate your financial GPS. But you look at your big picture, and it's like a contraction, right? It just constantly does this, right? You're constantly do this, right? And now look, when you're doing these contractions, right? Look at the big picture, and then you focus in on your net worth. Don't stay there too long. Don't stay there too long, right? You'll get a cramp. Don't stay there too long. Go back and look at the big picture. Right? Look at a lot of the movie stars and the athletes, right? And look at the big picture. Wow. And then they just focus on how much money they're making. And so it's leaving faster than they can make it. You got to contract. You got to pull back out. You know, is my family well taken care of? That's the big thing. So if you got financial endeavors, financial plans, and they stop with you, your financial plans are too small. If your financial plans stop with you, they're too small. There's something in your life that has meaning. I don't know what it is for you. It could be your faith. It could be a cause, it could be cancer. It could be an animal shelter. It could be, a village overseas. It could be feeding the homeless, right? You can have some kind of political agenda. Your financial dreams, if it stops with you, it's too small. So you got to find yourself contracting and auditing your financial life nonstop. Remember, when you retire, you got two jobs: to manage your time and to manage your money. And the better that you manage both, the happier you'll be. Okay? So I wanted all of you to have these nuggets so you can understand the philosophies that we are teaching you. We're trying to take the fear out of finances through education. These are things that are not taught in school. You're kind of just supposed to like figure it out, right? So what we're doing is we're creating a community where everybody is learning at a different level, but we're all coming together, and it's truly beautiful, folks. It is beautiful. Some of the things that I'm seeing inside the chat boxes, the questions that many of you are asking, right? Those of you who are making appointments and you're coming to the appointments and you have a lot of these questions that you're asking, folks, keep that up. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. I'm telling you, it's powerful. Because what happens is when one of you ask a question, you sincerely don't know the answer. You're asking a question. When you get that response is blessing hundreds of people. It's not just blessing you, right? Once again, if your financial dreams or if your financial goals end with you, they're too small. This format is meant so that it can help the many, not just the few, right? And there's many people who love this information. So that's awesome. Oh my goodness. Somebody put in the chat box, this content slaps harder than Will Smith. I love you guys, man. I love you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, look, as we always say, proper planning makes execution easier. Right? So I want you guys to learn how to look at your big picture and find solutions. Look at your big picture and don't just focus on the problems, right? Don't just focus on the problems, because if you just focus on just the problems, then you don't see the solutions. You don't see the solutions. Do I got time for one more nugget? Okay, I got 2 minutes for a nugget. All right. All right, gold nugget for you guys. Gold nugget. As we're coming to a close, I want to share this out of humble love for all of you. This is just my heart speaking right here, right? And my heart tells me to tell you people, all of you guys who are listening, and you can find out more if you go to the chat box. Just go to the chat box and we can talk one-on-one if you like to. Your choice, no pressure. That people who are understanding this, they have the best credit scores. People who understand what I just told you this evening, they have the best credit scores. Now listen to this. Listen to what I say. People who have the best credit scores are the healthiest. I just think about that, right? Because I deal in the world of life insurance, and so I work a lot in case designing for financial plans and underwriting for a lot of life insurance and annuity companies. And this is how they rate you. There's a mortality rate. They say, well, how long do we think this person will live? And a portion of that, of how long they think you're going to live, it's not only on your genetics. It's based upon your credit score. Now, what is your credit score based upon? How well you manage credit. What is credit? Your financial life. So the sooner you're able to wrap your head around some of these concepts, and the sooner, not only do you wrap your head around some of these concepts, but you start applying them. So we have people that come to our page. They visit us here at Laster Financial on Facebook, All About Others on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. I'm working with CDP Media, by the way, and they're hooking us up. They're oh man, guys, we have a great. It's going to come out. It's called The Lion's Den, and it's going to feature a lot of these concepts. But we have people, they just absorb information, but they never apply it. They never start to apply it. And that's troublesome, because much of what we say, it costs nothing but your time. Remember, you got to manage your time and your money. So it costs you your time, but once you spend your time, you're better managing your money. And if you're better managing your money, and this is the goal, you're going to teach somebody else how to better manage their money. And then they're going to teach somebody else. And then we're going to have a community understanding of how we're going to manage our money, right? And I've been to a lot of these forums online and in person, and people talking about starting businesses and growing money and networking. And we're going to do this. We're going to get this property. We're going to have this investment property. We're going to buy this crypto. We're going to save this money. We're going to get a Roth IRA. We're going to, we're going to get these bonds. We're going to buy gold and platinum and polonium and uranium and we're going to invest here. It's good. It's great. But how do you manage all of that? What do your transactions look like? And if this is an eye-opening conversation, that's exactly what it's meant to be, right? Because I guarantee you, whether you're listening now live or whether you're watching the playback, many of you are not auditing your financial life. And I don't want you to wait till adversity strikes for that to happen. But if adversity strikes, come on over. We've seen it before. We'd rather get you before adversity strikes, but if adversity is beating you across the head right now, if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're stressed out and you don't know what to do, if you're worried that you may not have saved enough for retirement, and if you're worried that you don't know when you're going to retire, if you're worried that you don't know how you're going to put your kid through college, if you're working 1 or 2 jobs or 3 jobs and struggling to make ends meet, based upon what you heard this evening, when is enough enough? If I'm showing you with the numbers that you can replace your expenses, replace your income, when do you want to start? When do you want to at least learn? That's all. That's all. That's all. So I love you guys. That's where this conversation comes from, right? After much thought and meditation, these are conversations that I want to make sure that we all are having. Okay, we all are having these conversations. So the conversation goes from not struggling anymore. Hey, James, how can we thrive? How can we thrive in this situation right here? Is there anything we're missing? How can we thrive? How can we make a bigger impact? So thank you guys. You guys know I love you. I love you. I love you the most, fam. I wish you well. I wish you the best. God bless you guys. Take care. See you next time. Be well.